Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter continues its collaboration with entrepreneurs and military for food distribution. Students from Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology Nursing Department are learning pedicure techniques to take care of elderlies. Welcome to Diet Headlines. I'm Joyce Ho. Thank you for joining us. Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers continue to work with Indonesian entrepreneurs and military to distribute rice and masks to families in need.
The military police are sending aid packages to the households one by one, making them know more about the living conditions of the residents.
I've
witnessed the lives of the local residents. It really hurt my heart. The housing condition is really bad and their income is too low.
I've always known that they really needed supplies, especially during the pandemic.
The military police cooperated with Tzu Chi to distribute 250 packages of supplies to disadvantaged families in East Jakarta. The business of the sundry store that Duri is running is deteriorating, so the 10 kilograms of rice received in time makes her no longer worried.
I'm very grateful. In the coming 10 days, we can have rice to eat, so we can face the pandemic bravely.
A company also distributed 1,300 packages of supplies in 4 villages in Bekasi city. This is the best blessing in Ramadan.
Now is the anti-pandemic period as well as Ramadan. Tzu Chi distributed aid supplies to the people in need. We also feel happy.
Abdul, who lives by collecting recyclables, suffered a stroke and was inconvenienced to move during the pandemic. Even so, he still goes out to earn a living. This time he received the rice, leaving the burden on his shoulders.
I'm very grateful. It really helps a lot. Usually we can only buy cheap brand of rice.
A warm meal can ease a family's mind so that they can have confidence to pass through the plight.
In Guangzhou, China, care recipient Huang Keqi suffered a stroke in 2018, paralyzing his right limbs. Life was very difficult for his wife between making a living and taking care of him. 84-year-old Tzu Chi volunteer Zhu Yanqiu stepped in to support the family on the road to recovery.
Huang Keqi, who is 56 years old, suffered a stroke at the end of 2018. He has been staying at the hospital for more than 2 years and has to do rehabilitation every day. Apart from his wife, he is accompanied by Tzu Chi volunteers in blue and white uniform. The volunteer that Huang Keqi feels grateful to is 84-year-old Zhu Yanqiu. Her husband has had a stroke before, so she treats Huang Keqi like her own child and takes extra care of him.
Huang Keqi really wants to walk on his own, but he's not confident enough. So we have to encourage him and give him courage. Only with perseverance can he move forward.
Because Zhu Yanqiu understands the needs of patients, she can provide suitable care. Although she suffers from severe scoliosis, that does not stop her from helping people. Apart from accompanying Huang Keqi to do rehabilitation regularly, she also brings food and monthly magazines to cheer him up.
He has stayed in the intensive care unit for 3 months and can get out, walk on his own and read by himself. He can also write and do calculation. He's really a miracle.
Look at Anne Cho. She needs to wear a waist projector and sits there uncomfortably, but she still comes to meet Huang Keqi regularly. I'm really very grateful to her.
With more than 700 days of companionship, Zhu Yanqiu and Huang Keqi couple have been close like family. Zhu Yanqiu is also pleased to see the couple come out of the haze of illness. It is hoped that this love can keep them move forward continuously.
Mariahi from Butterworth, Malaysia is no longer able to work following the removal of her right calf muscles due to diabetes. Tzu Chi volunteers have been supporting Mariayi for 2 years. Not only bringing hope into her life, she also vowed to become a vegetarian on her birthday.
我等到時我cả pas cả隻小白，小白生小我地貴呢就，我想食了，把路我想搭個手人。
Moriarty was a security guard in the past, but due to diabetes, she was forced out of her job after a surgery on the leg.
She's just a human. She's not married and lives alone. Besides helping her financially, she has a big scar on her leg. So we needed team members to clean her wound as she's not convenient to move around.
With proper love and care, Moriarty gained hope. Though she sits on a wheelchair, she still manages to clean her home. She also does handicraft for extra income and donates to the Bamboo Coin Bank daily. What surprises volunteers is that she is turning vegetarian because of her doctor's advice.
My doctor told me if I were to go meatless, there would be benefits. He asked me, does it hurt if I cut my leg? I said yes. Then he asked me, what if we cut chickens and pigs? Would it hurt? I said yes. Then he told me that animals are lives too. January 8th is my birthday, so I told Tan Lili that I'll start going meatless.
Volunteers bought a cake for her and wished her vow to become true. They also supported her by bringing her many vegetarian ingredients and taught her how to cook vegetarian cuisine.
It's good eating vegetables. I feel pure and I don't get distracted. It's also good for my feet.
Moriarty's act of going vegetarian not only brought her inner peace, but also changed her life.
Chen Huaihong, an elderly living alone in Hong Kong, met Tzu Chi volunteers last year and joined the ranks of volunteerism. Very sadly, he passed away last month, but the volunteers were able to host his funeral, allowing his relatives in Beijing to bid farewell through video conferencing.
His relatives, friends, and family members are all in Beijing. Because of the pandemic, they can't come to Hong Kong, so Tzu Chi volunteers host the funeral for Grandpa Tung, hoping that he can rest in peace.
Chen Huaihong, who lived alone, met Tzu Chi volunteers at the Mid-Autumn Festival in 2020.
It's our first time to meet such a good grandpa. He also vowed to adopt a strict vegetarian diet.
After more than 3 months, Chen Huaihong joined the rank of volunteering.
I should do something good, right? Seeing you guys do that, I also want to participate.
I've known Mr. Chung for a long time, but he was quite reserved and seldom greeted other people. Since Tzu Chi volunteers came here, he has changed a lot. He helped Tzu Chi volunteers adhere posters for promoting vegetarianism, also dressed up as the god of wealth to cheer everybody up.
For the sake of saving this planet, I think I should do this. I'm very happy. Although I'm tired, it doesn't matter.
On the 13th of March, Chen Huaihong completed his life peacefully without any pain, returning to nature as his final act for the environment.
Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology is working with senior long-term care services to teach the nursing students how to perform foot care professionally.
Massaging while talking to seniors, students from TCUST, Department of Nursing, came to the campus academy. Besides bringing care, they've acquired knowledge on foot care.
There are many seniors here who have thick toenails, and people rarely maintain it for them.
Toenails are often ignored as seniors' toenails thicken over time. At worst, it can even be onychomycosis.
教导护理的学生要怎么去操作。
We teach students on how to provide proper foot care. This increases the comfort for seniors, also elevates student knowledge on caring. I believe in the future, students may use the techniques on patients and family members.
甚至是可以应用在自己的家人身上。
它的指甲是脆的，如果说我们剪太深的话，它一直剪下去会整个裂开，那时候就会受伤了。
Step by step, proper techniques and knowledge on foot care is being taught, as teachers hope that students may use what they've learned today on future work.
Normally, we cut it and hope it doesn't get worse, but this time we are providing even more care to seniors.
Carefully treating each nail, the nursing courses along with long-term care services not only provided comfort to seniors, it also elevated students' mindset on future work.
And the Hualien Taroko derailment accidents, teachers and students from Tzu Chi's education mission were mobilized to help the ITV news broadcast, lunchbox preparation, as well as emotional support at the funeral home.
When the accident occurred, our administrative team first wanted to confirm if our teachers or students were on the train. At noontime from social media group and the media, we saw that there were more injured passengers. We also saw that charity groups and medical organizations have been dispatched. At this time, our students must be able to volunteer and help out.
一定要能够主动投入志工的行列。我们的4个学院的院
The deans from our 4 colleges have brought their teachers and students to help out. Another group of students were helping Dharma masters at Jingsi Abode to prepare meal boxes.
从旁边就能观察到说
I observed and noticed that in every meal box, broccoli was placed in the left corner. Everyone was doing their job. I had some doubts about how I could help out. However, in these details, I saw that everyone can give up himself.
都有他能够付出的东西。
那现场的气氛依然是相当的凝重，而今天也
那另外一队的学生
Another team of students followed the ITV news team to go to the accident site and the funeral home to help with reporting.
去协助拍摄。
Sister Josephine told me that we're doing a live broadcast at 3 p.m. You can control the video camera. Then I was shocked. Since she told me this 30 minutes before the live broadcast, I was not prepared for this. The ITV staff told me you can press this and the control room staff will call you. Then I said, okay, I know. I went up to take the camera. My hands did not shake, but my lower body was shaking. I was very nervous. I thought it was a different experience.
那有一位师姑呢跟我讲说，我们同学
A Tzu Chi sister told me that our students indeed helped a lot. While reporting, our students immediately type out the script with his mobile phone. After that, a volunteer checked the scripts before uploading. I'm very touched as the students have learned to work well.
已经开始学到敬业的态度。
像是有些在家属现场的时候
While the passengers' families at the accident site, we had to think about what we can film and what we cannot. How do we take the first step and ask for information? In the process, we thought about how to connect the films and the news materials we were giving to Dai TV. I was doing all of these for the first time, but I know some basic theories, so I knew what to do.
Students told me that as the anchors, reporters, and city uncles and aunties did not take breaks, so they did not dare to rest. They did not feel tired. On April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, about 30 to 40 students were mobilized every day.
师姑师伯，他们就牵起我们的手，就说跟我
So the uncles and aunties held our hands and said, "Follow me. You should do this." They told us, "You just need to stand on the side and give out napkins and water. Bless the people and please bear with the situation." They gave me a direction to help out and give of myself.
大学教育其实是要培养
College education is to nurture our important members of society. The teachers and students should care about the major events in society and understand the problems. Then they should use what they learn to contribute to the public so society can become more harmonized. This is the goal of education.
让社会更祥和、更进步。好，这就是教育的目的。
Today we're going to meet two students from Kaohsiung Xinxin Senior High School's music class. The diabetic Zheng Yuwei and the visually impaired Wu Jiajing have had to put in extra efforts ever since they started their musical journeys in elementary school.
The tuba Zheng Yuwei is holding has a monotone color and broad range. It accompanied Yuwei from elementary school to high school and won her the Excellence Award in the National Students Competition of Music.
I have also learned the oboe before. Back then, the teacher wanted me to give up playing the tuba, but I think it has a sweet voice.
After many years of practice, Yuwei hasn't lost her interest in playing the tuba. But suffering from diabetes, how can she be so devoted to practicing?
I have to inject insulin every day. In fact, my arm is filled with marks of injection. Sometimes I will forget to bring the insulin needle with me.
It bothers me a lot. Sometimes I have to remind her to get the injection. She has classmates' love.
Wu Jiajing's playing of violin in elementary school was just ordinary.
I want to be an excellent musical performer.
In junior high, Jiajing has set a goal for herself. Giving up the music class in Kaohsiung Senior High School, Jiajing was admitted to Xinxin Senior High School with excellent grades. Back then, she already performed very well.
Because the teacher has revised some places temporarily, so I immediately corrected it. Otherwise, my bowing techniques will be different from others.
The teacher needs to play the music once, so she can be familiar with the tone and hold her hand to let her feel the bowing position. It's a big challenge for the teacher because there is a big difference between teaching visually impaired students and normal ones. As the visually impaired students have one sense organ defected, they need to work extra hard with other sense organs.
In the eyes of the teacher, the two cheerful girls are walking on the same music road. Perhaps their physical fitness and five senses may not be well coordinated, but their passions for music are the same.
The same thing is that I always have the passion for music. I think I can still continue. That is, I have the motivation to move forward.
Climate change in 2020 is warming the Xiaoliuqiu waters, leading to the bleaching of half of the corals and their death. Marine experts are calling on the government to implement tourism restrictions on Xiaoliuqiu to sustain the marine ecology.
Xiaoliuqiu is the only island in Taiwan composed of coral reefs. It is very precious, but because there was no typhoon that landed in Taiwan last year, the waters of Xiaoliuqiu were like a pot of boiling water. As a result, 50% of the corals facing the fate of bleaching.
In summer, when the water temperature is relatively high, it may exceed temperatures of 30 degrees Celsius. The coral will start to have some sporadic bleaching because the water temperature is too high, and the symbiotic algae will leave the body of the coral, so its color will look white, like the color of the leftover coral reef bones.
Tzu Chi connected information collected by divers across Taiwan through the internet and reported it to academic institutions, which confirmed the severity of coral bleaching in Xiaoliuqiu.
In Chen Zhaolin's lab at Academia Sinica, they conducted a coral bleaching survey and determined that this year's coral bleaching was the worst in Taiwan's history. In serious cases, they've estimated that about 50% of them might die last year.
The news of the massive deaths of coral reefs in Xiaoliuqiu shocked the academic community. Research by Sun Yat-sen University also confirmed that climate change, human disturbance, and sewage discharged by too many tourists have already brought death threats to corals.
As long as people go snorkeling, the coral reefs will be damaged seriously. The same is true because there are a lot of people. There will be less algae-eating animals. The decrease will cause the algae to multiply, and they'll occupy more area, as how can the coral reef survive?
Once corals are bleached, they will face two fates, death or coming back to life when the water temperature drops. These all require follow-up observation and research to know the recovery of Xiaoliuqiu corals.
I just went to see the corals here. In fact, the corals here have recovered better than the northern ones.
Fortunately, there are fewer tourists in the southern part of Xiaoliuqiu and corals can have breathing space.
Natural factors are difficult for us to control. We hope that when there's no way to control natural factors, we can try our best to exercise restraint regarding man-made influences.
Tourists follow the guide to observe the ecology during the intertidal zone control period. Zhuzhiping is one of the three most popular intertidal zones in Xiaoliuqiu, with an influx of about 150,000 people every year. The result of the intertidal zone being trampled by tourists in the past 5 years means that 80% of the species have been reduced, as seagrass beds have disappeared and herbivorous snails have also decreased.
Just before we were going back to Taiwan this morning, we finally found the sea urchins we have been searching for in the past few days in this intertidal zone. And there are sea snails. Then we see that there are many holes in his reef. You just need to be careful. Look inside this hole. There is a sea urchin hidden in almost every hole.
There are actually many sea urchins in Xiaoliuqiu, but when we look at it now, they probably belong to the upper intertidal zone and the middle high tide zone. These are probably herbivorous organisms.
This is taken from a higher angle. They are all sea urchins. We estimate that there are about 800,000 to 1 million sea urchins in this small place.
Academia Seneca scholars further pointed out that the so-called sea urchin barren reef phenomenon is actually a warning sign of the second stage collapse of the intertidal zone.
When these herbivorous creatures are removed, the remaining part is some large invertebrates like sea urchins. Because those which eat algae are gone, and fish that eat sea urchins have also been removed. This has caused the so-called explosion of the sea urchins that we see today in the intertidal zone of Xiaoliuqiu.
What tourists don't know is that behind the phenomenon of seafood fishing and the explosion of sea turtles is a collapse of coral and intertidal ecosystems. If you want to keep the beauty of Xiaoliuqiu, you really have to ask tourists to cooperate.
Try not to eat some of the snails and shellfish that are unique here. When you go to the beach, you don't have to touch and step on everything.
These creatures can actually be kept until now so that we can see them. Basically, they're adapted to the previous environment and will disappear now. This is probably because we humans have changed the environment and climate.
If you have to go to Xiaoliuqiu, you should also try to reduce the amount of garbage and choose a homestay that is kind to the environment.
For example, some homestays may use environmentally friendly shower gels and shampoos. Those that can be decomposed in the sea may be more environmentally friendly.
Scholars urge government authorities to be more active in designing core conservation areas to effectively reduce the impact of human disturbance on the marine ecology. This will help Xiaoliuqiu retain its position as the only coral reef island in Taiwan.
Tzu Chi Foundation prepares eco-friendly blankets, reusable sanitary pads, and accessories for the maintenance of water wells to ship to Zimbabwe with love and compassion. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.